name's Riley. This is gonna be my first YouTube video ever. If you haven't read the title, get some glasses. We're gonna be I'm gonna be recommending you guys some of my favorite romance books, based on what Taylor Swift songs I think best represent them. So let's just jump right in. Also, my credentials as a Swiftie, are here, and as a romance reader are here. Okay, great. Thank you. Let's just start with my 5-star reads. So the ones I'm gonna bring up first are gonna be ones you've probably heard of and you've probably even read, and that's okay, because then we're gonna get into some that you maybe have never heard of. Okay, so we're starting with Play Along by Liz Tomforty, which is about Isaiah and Kennedy. They are the two main characters of the book. Isaiah is on the baseball team there, and Kennedy is the athletic trainers for the team. She's worked there for a couple years, and she's been engaged this whole time, and he's been secretly pining for her. And so first, we'll do champagne problems. Okay? I'm gonna try to do this with as minimal spoilers as I can, but that might be hard. So for champagne problems, Kennedy's family is very old money. They have a lot of expectations for their daughter. They want her to get married to this man who they want to take over their company eventually. And Kennedy's no. Or I can't remember who called it off, but anyways, so champagne problems. Next, Fresh Out the Slammer, okay? If you haven't heard Fresh Out the Slammer, I think you need to listen to it. It's not super accurate because she didn't really have Isaiah on her radar for a while before. He was there and he was flirting with her, but she didn't think he was serious about it because he was kind of a player. But she gets out of this relationship, and her first call is to Isaiah, basically. So the plot is they get married accidentally in Vegas, and then they have to, in order for Kennedy to keep her job with the team, they have to pretend that this is a real relationship, so it's got the fake relationship trope. So, she's fresh out the slammer, and she gets married. And then we have High Infidelity from Midnight's. One of the lyrics that I think really fits is, there's many different ways that you can kill the one you love. The slowest way is never loving them enough. Do you really want to know where I was April 29th? Do I really have to tell you how he brought me back to life? So this is kind of what I think Kennedy would say to her previous fiance about Isaiah. Next, by the same author, Liz Tomforty, we have The Right Move, which I think is the second book in the series. Play Along is the fourth, I believe. And these are my two favorites from the series. I've read all the other ones, and these are my faves. So this one is about Ryan and Indy, and Ryan is a basketball player, and Indy is his sister's best friend, and she needs a place to stay, so she moves in with him. She also has an ex who's, in the back of her mind. For this one, I chose Everything Has Changed from Red. And specifically, the verse I picked out was, and all my walls stood tall, painted blue, but I'll take 'em down, and open up the door for you. I'm sorry, I think I'm a pop star with this microphone. Basically, this is funny because Isaiah's nickname for Indy, not Isaiah, whoa, Ryan's nickname for Indy is Blue, because her name is Indigo, so I thought that was funny, but also, it fits because everything does change. Everything does change from him, and for him too, from her. They both kind of, open up the door for each other, for love. He has some demons back there in his closet as well. And then we have Sweet Nothing from Midnight's, especially the chorus I feel like fits them. They said the end is coming, everyone's up to something. I find myself running home to your sweet nothings. Outside they're pushing and shoving, you're in the kitchen humming, and all you ever wanted from me was sweet nothing. Because as a, professional basketball player, Ryan really feels like people take advantage of him and everyone wants something from him, but Indy's just kind of like, It's very pure between them, I feel, and which I think Sweet Nothings really represents. And then my final song for this book is Begin Again from Red. Specifically, he didn't like it when I wore high heels, but I do. Indy literally mentions, because she's a pretty tall girl, and her previous partner did not like her to wear high heels because she would be either the same height or taller than him, and he was a very insecure man, and he also downplayed her intelligence a lot. He needed to make himself feel bigger. However, Ryan, he tells everyone as soon as he can that she is the smartest woman ever, and he loves it when she wears high heels. Okay, so Begin Again. Perfect for them, in my opinion. Okay, next we have Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. Yes, you've probably read this or heard of it, but I'm going to talk about it anyways because it's one of my favorites. So this is about Elsie and Jack. Elsie is a physicist, and so is Jack, and she's trying to get a job at MIT, and Jack works there, and he's part of the hiring panel, but Jack knows Elsie through his brother as his girlfriend. Jack's brother hired Elsie to pretend to be his girlfriend around their family, and her persona around them is a librarian. So when Elsie shows up to interview for this physicist position at MIT, he's like, what the you're supposed to be a librarian. He's been secretly pining after her, and he feels really guilty and bad about it. So that being said, guilty as sin, some might say, from Jack's POV, I feel. This man is down bad. Another song I think that would represent them well is Afterglow from Lover, because of some of the things that happen with Jack and his past and Elsie's mentor. Specifically, I think I blew things out of proportion. Now you're blue. I'll put you in jail for something you didn't do. I pinned your hands behind your back. Thought I had a reason to attack, but no. Because there's just some misinformation going around, and she kind of blames him for things, Next, Maroon from Midnight. They have a couple really sweet moments in Jack's apartment. I think Maroon kind of fits the vibe for them a little bit. I think this is the intro. When the morning came, we were cleaning incense off your shelf because we lost track of time, laughing with my feet in your lap, because I'm pretty sure there's a scene in the book where she's literally doing that. And the wine spill vibe, because she's very clumsy around him. If you haven't read Love Theoretically, get out from under your rock, babe. Next, also by Allie Hazelwood, Check and Mate. Now, this is YA, so if you're looking for smut, you can fast forward. But this is my personal favorite from Allie Hazelwood. This one is about Mallory and Nolan. Nolan is this famous prodigy chess player. Mallory used to be, but then she quit because of this drama with her dad, and she has to take care of her family now. And drama. Okay, he died. Sorry. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think you find that out on the first page. But there was other drama with him as well, not just him dying. Sorry, that felt okay. She feels a lot of guilt from that, and that really affects her relationships. And Nolan, they have a chance meeting at a novice chess tournament. They play each other, and she wipes the floor with him, and he's immediately obsessed with her. He's like, oh my god, I didn't what? For this one, I chose Invisible String from Folklore, because they even have a conversation near the end of the book about, what if we were at these tournaments at the same time when we were kids and we just didn't know. And so they definitely have some Invisible String vibes for sure. And then I also chose The Archer from Lover. I feel like The Archer is so Mallory coded. She wants to fight so bad. She's so guilt-ridden that she, and I cut off my nose just to spite my face. Then I hate my reflection for years and years. She hates herself. Then she finds some stuff out. Combat, I'm ready for combat. I say I don't want that, but what if I do? She kind of turns her issues back on Nolan, and I'll let you read about it. But The Archer is so Mallory coded, in my humble opinion. And then from Nolan's POV, I feel like the lakes really fits because he very much hates the spotlight. He has had so many headlines and stuff about him. He wants to go to the freaking lakes, okay? Let him go to the lakes. And at the end, in like the epilogue, they very much like people still like question if they are dating. Like the public, they still never know, you know? So very lakes coded. Next, definitely read this one. If you like romance books, you definitely read this one, but it's Happy Place. I'll go through this one fast. Happy Place by Emily Henry. It's by Harriet and Wynn. It's a second chance romance. Distance, and Wynn was really depressed, and they reconcile at a vacation with their best friends, but their friends don't know that they broke up, so they kind of have to pretend that they're together. So for this one, I picked Dress from Reputation because there's a scene when they have to go out to like a bar or something, and I think I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure Harriet like puts on a dress to make Wynn like feel a little something, you know? So that's why I chose Dress. So one of the lyrics that I picked out from this one was, and if I get burned, at least we were electrified. I'm spilling wine in the bathtub. You kissed my face and we're both drunk. Everyone thinks that they know us, but they don't know nothing about. I picked that because they like hide in the wine cellar and everyone thinks they know them, and they don't because they don't know that they're broken up. And then I chose Don't You, which is a Fearless vault track. Specifically because when they reconcile, it's like, but don't you smile at me and ask how I've been? Don't you say you've missed me if you don't want me again? I feel like Harriet would say this to Win, you know? And then sometimes I really wish that I could hate you. I've tried, but that's just something I can't do. My heart knows what the truth is. I swore I wouldn't do this. Because, you know, they start to fall back into old patterns being reconciled. It's hard. And then I have Right Where You Left Me from Evermore which is one of my all-time favorite Taylor Swift songs. It's so good because Harriet feels kind of stuck. She feels stuck in what they had before, and you know she can't move on. She's right where he left her, and so is he. Wynn is as well. They're both just like can't move on. And why should they? And they don't, and that's okay. Another Emily Henry, because I can't be stopped, is Funny Story. It's about Daphne and Miles. I love this book, and you'll realize that I picked two of my favorite Taylor Swift songs for them. So yeah, if that says anything. Basically, Daphne and Miles, their significant others are best friends, and then the significant others get together. The girl tells the guy that she's always loved him, then they start dating, and then so Daphne and Miles are now single. Daphne and the ex were engaged, and Miles and the girl were just dating, or I think they lived together. And so then Daphne has nowhere to go. She gets kicked out of the house that she shared with her ex, so she moves in with Miles. And for them, I picked The Story of Us for Daphne and her ex because, I mean, the book is called Funny Story. Let me live. You know, The Story of Us looks a lot like a tragedy now. They had the best time telling, like, there's this whole part of it where they like to tell the story of how they met and blah, 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 and well, you know what? Now it's a tragedy because you left me basically at the altar for your childhood, or for your girl best friend. Could you be more cliche? And then I also chose Nothing New, which is a red vault track featuring Phoebe Bridgers. This is one of my favorite songs by Taylor Swift. And I low-key felt like this was from Miles' point of view. Just the like, I've had too much to drink tonight and I know it's sad, but this is what I think about, and I wake up in the middle of the night. It's like I can feel time moving. Like he like feels so that he's just not good enough for anyone after his ex leaves him. He's just like, he just can't wrap his head around ever being good enough for someone. And then I chose Cardigan from Folklore, which is my favorite Taylor Swift song. I think I can say that with my full chest. It's my number one. I'm pretty sure. You know, it changes daily, but that one is always stuck around. So I think I can fully say that. And I think this just fits their vibe. Her, Daphne and Miles, but I knew you. Dancing, I'm not going to sing it, sorry. Dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a streetlight. I knew you. Hand under my sweatshirt. Baby, kiss it better. Because I feel like Miles would dance in his Levi's, you know? And when I felt like I wasn't on Cardigan under someone's bed, she felt so bad after they broke up. And then he put her on and said she was his favorite, okay? It's them. A friend to all is a friend to none. Chase two girls, lose the one. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. Okay, so this verse, I feel like So Miles doesn't cheat on her or anything, but there's this whole thing with the exes, and she thinks that he's gonna get back with her. And spoiler alert, but I mean, you could see that coming, right? Um, and I think you could make that work. So Cardigan for sure. Next, I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. I have the physical book. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of this. A little book called, you know what? This is probably gonna be backwards, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. A little book called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And isn't this just the most beautiful? I don't know where I got this from. I got it from like a little tiny bookstore in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'll put the name because it was so cute, and they had so many books like used and stuff. Anyways, if you don't know the story of Pride and Prejudice, crack open a book, would ya? So obviously it's about Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth. I think a lot of people don't realize that this is the blueprint. Okay, this is the blueprint for enemies to lovers. This is it. This is the blueprint. So if you like that and you haven't read this book, like if you weren't forced to read it in high school, read it now. Like seriously, even on audiobook. I listened to an audiobook one time. It was great. Beautiful experience. So with that being said, the songs. Mastermind from Midnight's from Darcy POV. Darcy masterminds the shit out of Elizabeth, okay? Specifically, this verse. Once upon a time, the planets and the fates and all the stars aligned. You and I ended up in the same room at the same time. And at like a party, okay? And the touch of a hand lit the fuse. Okay? You guys know the Mr. Darcy hand flex? Have you ever seen that? Insert video. He's mastermind. He like has all these moving parts behind the scene that she has no clue about because he wants her so bad, okay? Also, they're low-key grumpy sunshine, another trope that they encounter. I hate it here. Again, from Mr. Darcy's POV. Because, he hates it there. He hates society, as in the coming out, getting married, going to balls and dancing and shit society. He doesn't like it. Okay, he wants to be at home reading a book or something. I'm lonely, but I'm good. I'm bitter, but I swear I'm fine. I'll save all my romanticism for my inner life, and I'll get lost on purpose. Okay, he's lonely. He's a lonely man. He wants Elizabeth. He doesn't have her, but he's good. Okay, he'll be fine. Okay, he's bitter. He's a bitter man. He's very, especially before he gets to know Elizabeth. He's very like anti-love. Like he doesn't want that. He doesn't even want a wife at all. Now, from Elizabeth's point of view, back to December from Speak Now, because once she realizes that Mr. Darcy did all of these things for her and her family, she's like, wait. I picked out the lyric, I'm so glad you made time to see me. How's life? Tell me, how's your family? I haven't seen them in a while. You've been good, busier than ever. We small talk, work in the weather. Your guard is up, and I know why. Because the last time you saw me is still burned in the back of her mind. He proposed to her, and she said no. So, yeah, I think that it's in the back of his head. You gave me roses, and I left them there to die. Yeah. Now, okay, we got the popular books out of the way. Let's move on to some smaller, or like maybe ones you haven't heard of. Maybe you have. If not, read them. If it suits your fancy, okay? All right. So we have Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. Now this is another YA, but it is so cute. I loved this book so much. I can't even tell you probably what happened. The female main character's name is Riley. Hello. But basically, her father owns a comic book store, and the kids from school come and play D&D and Dungeons and Dragons in the back rooms, and they have like clubs and everything. And I can't remember, she has to go help her dad work. She gets in trouble or something, I don't know. And she meets these kids playing Dungeons and Dragons, and she's a theater kid. She loves music, she loves performing, she's drama. She is the drama, okay? And it is just so sweet and cute. And so she notices that male main character, Nathan, seems to have a crush on this other girl that's in their group. She notices that the other girl seems to be jealous of her. So she's like, let's flirt in front of her or pretend to be dating or whatever, and she'll get jealous and then you can date her. Well, that happens. She gets jealous. I chose for this book, It's Nice to Have a Friend, because I think it is just so sweet. Like, school bell rings, walk me home, sidewalk talk, covered in snow, lost my gloves, you give me one, wanna hang out? Yeah, sounds like fun. Video games, you pass me a note, sleep, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I feel like very high school, very them, very cute. And then, and then I chose You Belong With Me from Fearless, because I could so see Riley performing this for she's so dramatic. I could see her performing this to Nathan. Signs in the window, everything. Okay, so if that didn't convince you to read it, I don't know what will. Okay, next I have this physical copy as well. Real by Kennedy Ryan. Now, I know Kennedy Ryan is a pretty popular author, but this book specifically does not have a lot of reviews on Goodreads, and I think it needs more because it is beautifully written, as all of Kennedy Ryan's work is. The story and the history and just like the appreciation for the arts, how Black history impacted the arts and how we don't know about any of it, and it's very, I love it. Okay, it's a that's my dog. Hi, baby. So it's about Canon and Neva is like she's an understudy for a Broadway show, I think. And Cannon is a filmmaker, and he's producing this film about Desi Blue, who is like this fictional performer, singer, something like that. And he's making a biography picture. I never know how to say that. He's making one of those about her life and everything. He wants people to remember her name, okay? And he sees Neva in her performance. The main girl is out of town, and she gets to understudy for her. And he just happens to be at the show because his friend knows her and whatever. And he's like, that's my Desi Blue. That's my actress. I want her. She's perfect, okay? And so he casts her in his movie, and he previously had dated an actress and it ended badly. So he's like, I can't do that anymore, but like, I'm obsessed with this girl. Okay. So for this one, I picked Clara Bow from TTPD. Let me just read you. Okay. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I think I might die if it happened to me. No one in my small town thought I'd see the lights of Manhattan. So Neva's from a very small town in North Carolina, which is where I'm from. I think it's North Carolina. And then Desi is from Alabama. And she wants to be a star, and she almost stays in town for her high school boyfriend. But something ends up happening and she leaves. And so, she thinks she might die if it happens. She wants to be a star. She's on Broadway to be a star. I know this is supposed to be like the chorus, this town is fake, but you're the real thing, breath of fresh air, through smoke rings, take the glory, give everything, promise to be dazzling. I know that that's supposed to be something that comes from like record label or like execs and stuff to make young girls like manipulate them almost to like get them, you know what I mean? But Cannon genuinely feels this way about Neva. He's like, you are the real thing. You're the real deal. Like, I need you in my movie. And then I also chose The Lucky One from Red for the woman, Desi Blue, that the movie's based on. And then I chose This Is Me Trying from Folklore, more from Cannon's POV, because he kind of he's had a hard time, I feel. And he's had a hard time adjusting. He had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting. Next, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, also from TTPD, because Neva has a chronic illness, and when she is trying to perform, she's doing it flawlessly, even though she's probably in pain or fatigued, and, she can do it with a freaking broken body, okay? She's a badass. And I also chose I Know Places from 1989, because Cannon whisks her off to places, to a secret, rendezvous spot because they're not allowed to be together, or he doesn't want to get caught being together because he thinks it'll damage her image, Next, I have The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. So this one has blown up, or I've seen a lot recently. People love this book. And you know what? I do too. I love this book. Georgia is about Georgia, and she grew up in a small town in South Carolina, and something happens with her family. She gets caught doing something, and they kick her out, and she has to go to a boarding school in Europe, London, the UK, something like that. And then she ends up living in London, and she's got this weird not quirk, it's her little job where she can read people's body language so well. She can tell when you're lying. She can tell all everything about you. It's crazy. It's so interesting to read about. I don't know if it's real or accurate or anything, but it's so cool, and I wish I could do it. And then she comes home because her father died, and her brother, who lives in California, and he also has issues with the family because he's gay, and the South Carolina Christians do not like that. So he also has to get kicked out of the house and whatever. But they all come back because their father died. And so for Georgia, I chose Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, because she comes home and, it causes a ruckus because everyone's like, that whore. So she's villainized and all of this stuff. But she comes home, and I just feel like Who's Afraid of Little Old Me really, because she's come home with a vengeance, kind of. She's very she's like, I'm done taking my family. I'm not gonna listen and be villainized anymore by the people in this small ass town. So, specifically, the scandal was contained. The bullet had just grazed. At all costs, keep your good name. You don't get to tell me you feel bad. Is it a wonder I broke? Let's hear one more joke. Then we could all just laugh until I cry. Up from the gallows, and I levitate down your street. Crash the party like a record scratch as I scream. Because I could see her going into that house screaming. Because I wanted to scream reading this book because I was so mad for her. And then also, I was Tamo's gentle till the circus life made me mean. Being put on display for this whole freaking town made her mean. And, they took out all her teeth. They sent her away. She couldn't defend herself. And in that same vein, Cassandra from TTPD, okay? When the first stone's thrown, they're screaming. In the streets, there's a raging riot. When it's burned the bitch, they're shrieking. When the truth comes out, it's crying. It's quiet. So, everyone in the town calls her a whore. And then when the truth comes out of what actually happened, silence. The romance part of the book is that her brother is an alcoholic, and he brings his AA sponsor home with him for the funeral because he needs extra support. Georgia and Sam is his name, Sam Penny. They meet, and immediately sparks fly. That I didn't choose that song for this. I chose Enchanted. Because that's also one of my favorite songs. She was enchanted to meet him. They were enchanted to meet each other. And it was kind of insta-lovey, which I'm not usually a fan of. But for this book and for them, it really worked for some reason. Because they didn't get together immediately. But there was tension because of reasons. And yeah, it really worked, I will say. So I also chose Ivy from Evermore as a song for them because, specifically, my pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand. Georgia has all this trauma, all this, and so does Sam. She has all this, deep-rooted issues, and, her pain he just holds it, and he just does, okay? It just works. He just grows around her like ivy, dude. Okay, next. Now I'm going to get into books that I don't love, but I like my 4 stars. The ones I just mentioned were all 5 stars for me. These I feel like are 4. All right, next we have You Between the Lines by Katie Naiman. All right, this one, you guys, I'm going to recommend you read it and make your own opinions, but I can see why people wouldn't like it. So we're going to go into that with an open mind, okay? All right, so this is about Lee, is the female main character, and William. They knew each other in college, and they were both in the same writing program, and then they both get into the same MFA writing program, grad school program. Okay? they're low-key like rivals. Like Lee is like this, like she writes poems from Taylor Swift's point of view, okay? Like she's a pop girly. She's like, I'm not afraid to be basic, okay? I like what I like. And you know what? I love that about you, Lee. These are flawed characters, okay? And that's what makes them so real and lovable, in my opinion. I think this book has Allie Hazelwood vibes a little bit. I feel like she could have written this book. It would have been better if she wrote it, I feel. But it still has the same vibe, in my opinion, of horrendously down bad man. For them, I chose Mirrorball from Folklore for Lee specifically because she writes a lot of poems. Their poetry is their program that they're in. She writes a lot of poems and kind of makes them what she thinks other people would like a lot of the times. Like she the subject matter is her what she likes, but it's very much like she's trying to fit a specific mold, you know? She's not writing from the heart. She's very much like surface level writing. She can change everything about her to fit in. Okay? She's Mirrorball. Next, I chose Sparks Fly from Speak Now because since they knew each other before, like my mind forgets to remind me you're a bad idea. You touched me once and it's really something. You find I'm even better than you imagined I would be. I'm on my guard for the rest of the world, but with you I know it's no good. So I think that kind of fits them because she is like on her guard a lot. She pretends to be open, but she's really not saying anything in her writing and in her work. But she's pretty open with William, at least later. And I chose Out of the Woods from 1989. I feel like from when they knew each other before, picked out, looking at it now, last December, we were built to fall apart and fall back together. So, they fell apart back then and then they fell back together and it's like, are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear? Can we be good now? Are we through our issues? And now Lee, somehow, miraculously, all of her deep-seated issues are solved in this book. Do I think that's realistic? No. My girl needs some long-time therapy. And William, too. There's just, okay. But you know what? I loved this book. And I don't know what that says about me, but it was good. The poetry was kind of cringe at points, but, The Ex Vows by Jessica Joyce, which is another second chance romance. Basically, it's about Georgia. Wait, is her name Georgia as well? Okay, well, Georgia and Eli, and they broke up like years before this. They have the same best friend as a man who's their best friend. I can't remember his name at the moment. Their best friend is getting married to a woman, and so they are like co-best people for him. But Eli, he lives not in the same city as them, and he has a very demanding job and has not had time to be involved in wedding planning or anything. And they've had a lot of issues with this wedding, like comical disasters. Basically, they broke up because he was so in his job, like he had such bad like anxiety, he like had to focus on his job. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if these people should have gotten back together, but I really enjoyed the book, so I'm recommending it. But now to the songs. I chose Paper Rings from Lover because if you've read this book, it'll be obvious why, but Eli makes paper rings for Georgia through their whole life because they were best friends before they got together as well. And then I chose Tolerate It from Evermore because when he was working so much and she was living with him in, I think, New York before they broke up, while you were out building other worlds, where was I? Where's that man who'd throw blankets over my barbed wire? It's like he changed when he got this job. I made you my temple, my mural, my sky. Now I'm begging for footnotes in the story of your life. Drawn hearts in the byline, always taking up too much space or time. You assume I'm fine, but what would you do if I... So there's a lot of... This book, a lot of it could have been, I think, fixed with a conversation between the two. It's one of those. Like, if they had just told each other how they were feeling, they would have been fine. But, people have issues and trauma and insecurities, and that doesn't always happen, and that's okay. Okay, hi, it's me editing. While editing this, I realized there's a perfect song for them, and it is Taylor and Big Red Machine's collab, Renegade. And it's perfect. Specifically, the verse that made me realize it was, Is it insensitive for me to say, get your shit together so I can love you? Is it really your anxiety that stops you from giving me everything, or do you just not want to? And that's Georgia and Eli to a T, to be honest. Okay, next is Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. Okay? I loved this book, okay? And also, I recommend listening to it on audiobook because the narrator kills it. Her British accent and like the sass that she just adds to the book is so good, okay? So, this one is about Kiki and Malachi. Kiki is, I think she hosts a podcast or a radio show, I can't quite remember, where she hates on men, okay? Don't we all? She tells women they deserve better. Don't do this situationship stuff. You deserve better. And she specifically talks about Malachi because he's kind of a playboy vibe. And she's like, he's dirt, okay? But then she gets caught kissing him at a party. And people are like, Kiki, what the hell? You were lying? You just wanted him for yourself? I chose for this one, but daddy, I love him. Because, you know, she kind of screaming at a certain point in the book. She's like, I don't give a f*** you guys say. I like this guy. Then I also chose Cowboy Like Me from Evermore because I feel like they're just two people who aren't sure about love. Like they don't, you know, they're kind of like hard on the outside, soft on the inside type of people, and they just fit together. They're cowboys, you know? They're bandits. Specifically chose the lyric, and the skeletons in both our closets plotted hard to fuck this up, and the old men that I've swindled really did believe I was the one, and the ladies' luncheon have their stories about when you passed through the town. Oh, but that was all before I locked it down. And you know what? Locked it down she did. She locked it down. Okay? Next book I have is Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I haven't read the rest of the series. I've only read this one. Now, the... I looked it up, and this came out in 2023, but the cover gives, like, early 2000s. Okay? And, you know, the whole vibe of the book gives early 2000s reality show vibes. About Rose and Connor. Rose is... They're both super smart, and she's on a reality show about her and her family because they're, like... big names. Their parents are like kind of famous. They're like micro celebrities. They kind of, it's like almost like a Blair Waldorf type in Gossip Girl, kind of like that vibe. This one's a little different because Rose and Connor are already together at the beginning of the book. They had gotten together college, because Connor thought she would be good for him. He doesn't say he loves her. Like he like feels incapable of love, and you know they go through all this in this reality show, and they eventually come around. But for them, I chose New Romantics. Okay, now this one I feel is perfect for them. This is them. Okay, we're all bored. We're all so tired of everything. We wait for trains that just aren't coming. Okay, her and her family and her sisters and stuff and all their boyfriends. They're all just bored and tired of everything. We show off our different scarlet letters. Trust me, mine is better. They all have issues in the show. This is them. This is their whole group, okay? We're so young, but we're on the road to ruin. We play dumb, but we know exactly what they're doing. And you know what they do? They figure it out. Then I chose Endgame from Reputation because I feel like this is Connor's POV right here. Knew her when I was young, reconnected when we were a little bit older. Both sprung. I got issues and chips on both my shoulders. Reputation precedes me, and rumors I'm knee deep. That is Connor Cobalt. I think that's Ed Sheeran's verse also. Just funny. For Rose, I chose Reputation precedes me. They told you I'm crazy. I swear I don't love the drama. It loves me. And I can't let you go. Your handprints on my soul. You've been calling my bluff on all my usual tricks. So here's the truth of my red lips. So Rose and Connor are very like, it's almost like rivalry. It's a rivalry. They like play games with each other, and which you think would be toxic, but it kind of works for them. Okay, next book is Variation by Rebecca Yarros. This was my first contemporary romance novel by Rebecca. I've read, all of the Fourth Wing series that's out so far. So I thought I'd give her a contemporary try, and I enjoyed this. Not a 5-star, but it was good. I had a good time reading. So it's about Hudson and Allie. This is kind of second chance. Allie is a ballerina, and one thing about me, I'm a sucker for anything that's in the dance world, specifically ballerina world, because that is something that I'm so far removed from and so impressed by that I'll read anything or watch anything about it. Like Dance Moms, I'm there. Dance Academy, I'm there. Okay? Variation, I'm there. I don't really want to get in the plot to this one. It's a lot. A lot happens in this book. Basically, Allie is in this dancer prodigy family. Like, they're all dancers. Her mom was a famous dancer. Her sisters are all dancers. They're not allowed to like do anything or have friends outside of their dance circle. But they go to this sea town. It gives like, I think, Cape Cod, I'm pretty sure, vibes. And they stay there for the summer, and she meets Hudson, who's a local guy. He's just a guy. And they form a friendship. Something happens, and their relationship ends, and Allie leaves and like never comes back, and she goes on to become a famous dancer and, you know, part of a company, and then she comes back to the town, and they rekindle, and they go through all their stuff. Okay, I chose My Tears Ricochet from Folklore for this because I didn't have it in myself to go with Grace and you're the hero flying around saving face, and if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Which gives me the vibes of Allie, because she's like, you are acting like the hero here in this town, because he's like literally a hero. He's I think he's in the Coast Guard, and he like goes off and saves people who are in shipwrecks off the ocean, in the ocean, right? He's here saving face, and if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Why are you coming to my ballet show? Why are you in the back in my ballet show? Why? Right. And then, even on my worst day, did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me? Because I loved you, I swear I loved you till my dying day. Because what he does to her, you can't blame him completely. You'll find out if you read it at the end. But he just like leaves her high and dry when something traumatic happens to her. And, you know, she didn't deserve that. Okay. I also chose Mine from Speak Now for them because do you remember we were sitting there by the water? You put your arm around me for the first time. They're always around the water. They live at the beach, dude. And then you made a rebel of a careless man's careful daughter. You were the best thing that's ever been mine. She was a careless man's careful daughter. And he made her a rebel because, you know, she wasn't supposed to be with him. And she was. Queen. And then I chose I Look in People's Windows. Because I think from Hudson's POV, this one fits a little better. Like, I had died the tiniest death. I spied the catch in your breath. Northbound, I got carried away as you boarded your train. South. Does it feel all right not know me? I'm addicted to the if only. You know, he's still living in their past a little bit. This might be a long shot. All right. This is Bright Side by Kim Holden. It was written in 2014. Now, I'm just going to preface this and let you guys know that if you don't want to cry, don't read this book. All right? So the main character I don't think this is a spoiler. I think you should know this before reading it. Because I kind of went in thinking it was just a normal romance novel, and then it kept giving hints that she has an incurable illness. And I was like, wait, it's just not a happy ending. So basically, it's about a girl named Kate, and she is just sunshine incarnate. She is not like other girls, but like in a good way. Like, she's literally not like other girls. Like, she's dying of cancer. Spoiler alert. She has like incurable cancer. And she goes to college, and because her sister, something happened with her sister back in their hometown, and she leaves her best friend Gus there. And he is a musician. I think he's a lead singer in a band. And they had sex right before they left. So you start this book and you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to get together. No. Actually, they bring in a third person, a man named Keller, and he works at the local coffee shop in this college town. And him and Kate hit it off immediately. Well, not immediately, but kind of. She holds back a little bit because she knows she's dying and she doesn't want him to hurt. So for this, I chose Soon You'll Get Better. For obvious reasons, I feel like the lyric right here is either from Keller or Gus's POV. I know delusion when I see it in the mirror. You like the nicer nurses. You make the best of a bad deal. I just pretend it isn't real. Because Kate really does make the best of a bad deal. Like, she is just, like, she tries to be just the nicest she can be. And it's great. And she's a great person. And reading from her POV is so interesting. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the sadness that this book gave me, though. Can we talk about, for 1 second, what is up with early or like mid 2010s and Cancer in their books? Because this was also, I think it's a little later than Fault in Our Stars, but this was in a similar time period as that. Like, do authors just throw that in there because they know that it's something that is gonna make people feel? Is it a cop out? Is it an easy way out? Probably. My grandmother is dying of cancer. She's literally on hospice right now. So this one hit a little hard when I read it I read it recently, actually. Yeah, I think I it kind of is a cop out, I feel, in a lot of aspects, but also if you need a good cry, it works. Okay, it works every time. So I also chose Wildest Dreams because, say you'll remember me in your wildest dreams. Say you'll remember me standing in a nice dress, staring at a sunset, babe. And that line, staring at a sunset, that's like her thing. It was like her thing with her sister. Like, the sunsets were their thing. So this song really fits them, I feel. Last book, let's go, is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This one was so sweet. I loved this book, okay? I really did. It felt very realistic and like something, okay. Romance novels can only be so realistic, but it just felt, the characters felt very real. So it's about Aiden and Lucy, and Aiden is a host of a radio show, and Lucy is a mechanic, and she has a child. She's a single mom, but she has a great relationship with the child's father, who is married to a man. I don't know if he's gay, but he's married to a man. So they have a great relationship. The child is super cute. The child calls in to this radio station because he hosts like he's like a love doctor, supposedly, Aiden. So her kid calls in and is like, I need you to find a man for my mom, basically. Like, I want her to find love. I want her to be happy. And the mom ends up going on the show, like she's like a weekly guest or something, and they try to find her man. They have her go on dates. It's like a whole segment of the show, and you can see where this is going. I think this is advertised as a Sleepless in Seattle rewrite. I can't remember, something like that, and it's really cute. So for this one, I chose The Other Side of the Door from Fearless, which banger. Because I said leave, but all I really want is you to stand outside my window, throwing pebbles, screaming, I'm in love with you. Like, they like claim to like not want each other, and then she's still going on dates with other guys. And so it's like, she's like, you can't be what I need, kind of thing. And then, but she really does want him. Okay. And don't you leave, because I know all I need is on the other side of the door. All she needs is on the other side of the freaking recording door, all right. And then I chose the song Fearless because I feel like they kind of pull each other out of their shells. Like, Aiden is very like anti-love, and Lucy's very much like, I don't need that in my life, I'm happy the way I am. But she does it for her daughter, so they both kind of make each other go headfirst fearless into this love thing. Okay, well, that was end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed or learned a new book that you might want to read. Let me know if you guys have any songs that you think fit these books better. Let me know your suggestions, and like and subscribe. Bye. Hold on.
This Be nice.
I'm finding it.
Love theoretically. Woo. Harvey? I can hear them whisper as we pass by.